Rivalries have always made for great stories. Whether it's in cinema, literature, or on a cyclocross course, it draws viewers and lasts in our memories for an eternity. For almost a decade now, we've been witness to what's been called the Beautiful Duel, the battle between Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert. Van der Poel, the Dutchman, comes from a family legacy of talent. On the other side, the Belgian Van Aert came from a family distantly involved in the sport through a cousin who used to race. For the past few years, they've gone head-to-head in cyclocross from the junior ranks to the elites, trading first and second places every weekend around Europe. Throughout their battles, the general consensus is that Van der Poel is the more talented but more emotional of the pair, where Van Aert is more calculated. Generally, in their battles thus far, it's followed a similar pattern. One of them gets through the first lap chaos with a gap and holds it until the end. The 2016 World Cup race at Namur was not one of those battles. It was a head-to-head duel outside of the Citadel, on cobbled sections, steep climbs, and off-camber sectors, one of the toughest courses on the circuit. In the previous year, 2015, another duel, Van der Poel came out on top, Van Aert taking second. Van der Poel was the world champion then, but now, in 2016, the tables have turned, with Van Aert wearing the rainbow stripes and Van der Poel unable to land on the podium at that world championship. During the final lap, it was hard for me to fight for third place. I came for the title. Wout is a well-deserved winner. Hopefully, he'll be my rival for the coming years, said Van der Poel. Now, it's a 2016-2017 season. For a quick recap on the World Cup series so far, Van Aert won the first two legs, Cross Vegas and Jingle Cross, both in the USA. Van der Poel missed both those races, still recovering from a knee injury. Once the World Cup returned to European shores, Van der Poel lined up and took the next two, Cowberg Cross and Polder Cross 7, extending a streak of being undefeated at World Cup races to 7. It's time to see if the streak will continue. It's a typical Belgian December day, which means it's gray, cold, and a light drizzle's popping in, making the course wet and muddy in spots, which means riders will be reassessing each corner every lap. We're at the start line, and everyone is tense, waiting for the green light, ready to clip into the pedals and immediately put down as much power as they can for the next 60 minutes. The light changes, the race starts, up the starting section, and it's Van der Poel getting the whole shot, Van Aert close behind. Then, the trouble starts. The riders come to the off-camber section of the course, one that'll be critical for the whole race. Van der Poel and Van Aert each choose a different line. Van der Poel going higher, Van Aert going lower. One of them has chosen wrong. It's Van Aert hitting the ground, taking the wrong line, and is now watching Van der Poel right away. During the recon, it was dry, and I thought to have found a line with good grip in the grass at the bottom of the section. During the race, it was more difficult. At the end of the first lap, Van der Poel has opened up a 14-second gap, riding methodically, taking no risks. Behind, Van Aert is leading the chase group, and he slowly leaves them behind. He catches Van der Poel as they take a hairpin and hit the off-camber section. Again, this is the point where you should look up the definition of insanity. Yet again, Van der Poel goes high. Van Aert goes low. He holds the line. Then he starts to get a little shaky. Then he's over the bars, face in the mud. On Van Aert's face, you can read embarrassment, frustration, and a slightly bruised ego. After the first time, I thought that I was in the wrong rut. It was stupid to try it again a second time. It took a while before I had the right feeling in that section. Van der Poel simply continues motoring on, as Van Aert is back in the chase group. All his progress erased. Van der Poel looks so composed, which is probably easy to be when your rival has shot himself in the foot twice now. At the end of lap 2, it's the same situation. Now Van der Poel is up by 18 seconds. On lap 3, Van Aert rides a climb that Van der Poel decided to run. Expending more energy, yes, but Van Aert is now going much faster. leading to him catching up on lap 4. Tom Hussein has joined up as well. We reach a lull in the race, the Titans catching their breath. Van Aert leads for a bit, and then his bad luck continues. He takes a corner too wide, getting his handlebars tangled in the course siding, and has to readjust them before he can take off again. This is so unlike him, and his mindset is clearly not focused. Then he has to swap bikes in the pit, losing a few more seconds. It's not until 3 laps ago that Van Aert finally catches back up to Van der Poel. For a few brief seconds, they slow down, preparing for the battle to come. On a steep hill towards the back half of the course, Van Aert attacks, and for the first time, we see Van der Poel's strength falter, and his skill. He turns the front wheel slightly too soon towards the crest of the hill, riding into the course barriers, stumbling and losing 5 seconds. It doesn't take long for him to catch back up, and now the duo are flying across the course, caution thrown to the wind. The final lap now, 1-on-1, all to play for. Van der Poel is leading, and then Van Aert takes the front. They hit the off-camber one last time. Van der Poel takes the middle. Van Aert takes the high line. Van Aert chose wrong again. He bobbles multiple times, and Van der Poel leads out of that section with a gap. It's just a few bike lengths, and now they're on the climb that Van der Poel previously messed up. This time, he's picture perfect up it, throwing down major power and extending the gap, the killing blow. Van der Poel is gone. Van Aert knows this and sits up. Mathieu Van der Poel celebrates, throwing a right hook across the line. Maybe more of a metaphor for a decade-long fight than he realized. Van Aert takes second, 16 seconds behind. Quote, "I'm disappointed. Losing in the final lap for the second day in a row is no fun," Van Aert said. Quote, "I had the feeling that Wout was the strongest man today, but I'm able to ride a good finale in such a cross race. Last year, I also won in a fantastic way. This year again. I'm enormously happy," said Van der Poel. Was Wout the strongest today? Maybe, but cyclocross just isn't always about being the strongest. Simply put, this is one great battle in the sea of many between these two modern legends of the sport.